NewsBiscuit. Real fake news.
Welcome to NewsBiscuit, the UK's original fake news. NewsBiscuit, on the next plane to Rwanda. I'm your host, Wrenfoe, and I'm joined by the last two turkeys in the shop. Paul L.
Hello.
And FlashArry.
Hello.
Pretty much good to go, so we'll plough straight into this bad boy. That's a terrible phrase, isn't it? This month sees COP28 set targets for COP29 to fail on. The Ukraine is so desperate for US weapons, they started to dress like Israel. And Argentina's economic shock therapy devalues the peso by 50%. So less of a shock, more of a kick to the bollocks. And that brings us to our first round news and brief, where our panelists select their favourite headlines. So, FlashArry.
Climate emergency upgraded from meh to whatever.
Yeah, they're not even pretending to fix the climate now, are they? The COP people.
No, it's just a sort of and moving swiftly on. You know, sort of we'll next item of agenda, and
it just is a really nice opportunity for all the oil lobbyists to meet together.
Manchester City launch bid to relegate themselves.
Let me get this right. Everton have done like one or two dubious things, and they've been deducted 10 points, haven't they?
Exactly.
Man City have got like a list of about 250. If they're found guilty, what kind of punishment is it going to be? Are they going to be forced to, I don't know, play netball? What? How?
Yeah, they'll be down. They'll be down in the sort of Lancashire Schoolboys League number 7, which is tier 83 or something. I don't know.
But they will definitely win.
You would put money on that? Yeah.
Can you imagine being a 10-year-old Cub Scout and you've got Kevin De Bruyne just coming at you at full pelt? You're like, fuck!
Yeah. You can't ban Katie Hopkins. You just have to sprinkle salt on her.
Is she back on Twitter yet? Because I think Elon Musk is slowly bringing back all the old, I'm going to say the old team, the old group of all the really unpleasant people who got banned for being so obnoxious, and that's for Twitter. So you got to think they are beyond the pale. He's slowly bringing them all back. So I don't know if Katie Hopkins is back.
I quite like how X, formerly known as Twitter, appears to be the new company name.
Yeah, does anyone call it X? I'm pretty sure Elon Musk, even in interviews, calls it Twitter still.
Does he?
Even he can't remember, because obviously, Twitter. Okay, that's the brand, but you tweet. That's the thing. So if it's X, what's the when you post the thing? What are you doing? Are you excreting?
Exclaiming?
Ooh.
Oh, exclaiming. Yeah, that sounds better.
That's probably more the company line than excreting.
My contribution to brainstorming session. Is it excreting? No. Is it exfoliate? No.
Jenrick resigns as he has no confidence in himself.
I do like it though when a minister resigns, and I had no idea they were a minister in the first place.
Yeah.
We should just name him X.
Well, that's going to cause problems with Twitter, isn't it, there, Paul?
No, because no one calls Twitter X.
All right, yeah, there's a gap in the market there.
And why Jenrick resigned? Was it just because the gist was that Sunak hadn't been enough of a Nazi with his immigration bill, so Jenrick was
proposing to actually put corks on the end of the pitchforks rather than give him a fighting chance. The last one in my bag was memory foam mattress called as witness in burglary.
I wonder if a memory foam mattress could tell if your partner had an affair.
A memory foam mattress, can you actually give them away in the end? I mean, because you see people saying there's a mattress here if anyone wants it. I mean, memory foam ones are more difficult to give away, aren't they? Because you say we have to be sort of like me to take it.
Yeah, well, it's just that this is a mattress with memories of all the weird shit that I've been doing in this bed. You want that mattress shot by the CIA for knowing too much.
You just end up cutting it up and put it in the bin.
Who was that guy with this? It's Jeffrey Epstein, isn't he? Who was pretty much murdered. No, but he was pretty much murdered by Secret Services. That's pretty much what happened with him in prison. Definitely happened because he knew too much weird sex stuff about people. And he is the memory foam mattress. He is the equivalent of that. Right, thank you for that. Paul L.
Disorganized mountaineer finally gets on top of things.
Hey.
There you go. Start strong on a pun. Immigration bill to be smuggled into the House of Lords. 6.7 billion to screen all VAR mistakes. This is the Premier League selling the largest catalogue of cock-ups in the history of candid camera.
6.7 billion for the new Prem contract, isn't it? And yeah, VAR comes with it, unfortunately. I mean, I'm a football fan, but I watch a lot of non-league football primarily. So I hadn't been to a Premiership game, I think, since the VAR thing had started, until I took one of my lads to go and see West Ham play. And I didn't realise how horrendous it was, where you're just sitting in the stadium and you get these like 5-minute pauses in the action where everyone's going, what's going on? What's going on? I mean, it's okay when you're watching it maybe on TV because they can show you repeats of the clip and everything. But in the stadium, you were just clueless.
And do I stand up? Do I throw my seat on the ground?
Exactly. And I was sitting next to a load of real hardcore West Ham thugs who clearly were just always on the edge of violence. And I didn't want them to have this 5-10 minutes where they just might look at me and contemplate like snapping me in half.
Yeah. Match of the Day should give its own spin-off show to any VAR.
But like a comedy bloopers show.
Yeah, like this one. Awkward silence as King Charles reminds Sunak his father was Greek. Elgin marbles again. I haven't actually seen the Elgin marbles.
Well, I can show you mine if you like.
Hey, now we're cooking.
Yeah. now this podcast's got good.
Yeah, it started off slow, but we got to the ball gags already.
Yeah. They're deeply underwhelming. One of those things where most people haven't seen it, and reality is most people don't care. Give them back to Greece. Why are we keeping them?
I have no idea what the fuss is. Just give them back.
And I think they're only kind of famous because through the notoriety. It's not that they're particularly like amazing.
Maybe we lost the real ones, and those ones are just like
so we don't want
close.
We don't admit we fucked up.
These are plastic.
Yeah, made in Birmingham.
Oh no, that's like when someone buys you a really nice kind of gift for Christmas and it gets broken, and whenever they visit, you have to pretend that it's off at the cleaners.
I mean, it does explain why we're reticent, like going, well, we can't give them back because you know what happened.
We've ground them down and snorted them.
Last one: steelworker finds his job riveting. Close as we started there.
Lovely.
Uncomplicated humour. Our next round is True Biscuit, where a panel has to guess which is a real headline and which is a fake one.
I have got a world breaker, a record breaker, not a real one.
A world breaker? It's true. What,
oh my word.
Like Thanos?
No, it's a record breaker. Man who's broken the world record for owning the most Lynx gift sets.
Well, that's a tough record, isn't it? Because I imagine every 12-year-old boy at Christmas must come close to beating that record.
Well, yes, this is exactly. And this gentleman, he's 48, so he's had quite a few.
Has he got a lot of elderly aunts who are still alive who keep sending them to him?
Yeah, he has, yes. It's every birthday, every Christmas and Easter. It perpetuates itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, they assume you now collect them because they keep giving them to you.
He must love them.
Right.
My dad used to get a lot of Badidas.
Oh, that is a fancy bubble bath. Mrs. Wrenfoe told me how much it cost the other day. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
we're closing that shit down now.
Well, you could have got into the spiral like my dad did with my mum and just kept buying them and buying them. Obviously, he ended up bankrupt, but I won't go into that. So
selling himself on the streets to keep himself in Badidas.
Yeah.
2 jobs.
Am I right in assuming then these are unopened?
Yes, they're
packages?
Unopened. He's not even. It doesn't even.
You devalue them by opening them.
Wow,
yeah. So does he not even know what Lynx smells like?
No, well, I don't. But he doesn't specify. But
he's an idiot. Because I get it once you're collecting these things and you don't want to open them up, but there must be the first 2 or 3 packets where he's just like, oh, well, I that's it. What lovely box they bought me. Family going, no, there's a thing inside the box. He's like, no, there isn't.
The thing is, he's broken the world record. So I think he just went for it. You know, he must have thought,
from day one.
So he thought, well, I've got loads of these. I wonder, you go onto the Guinness World Book of Records, have a look to see if there's any world record for the
but there was a point at which he didn't have loads, Paul. There was a point where he only had like 1 or 2. That doesn't make you go, oh yeah, I've got world records for a number of boxes here. Not unless it's simple.
It does if you're a record breaker, Wrenfoe. You haven't got the record breaker mindset.
So the moment you purchase any item in your house, you go straight to the Book of Records to see, well, how many? Every time you buy a banana, You're like,
no,
well, all right, technically it's a meal, but let's have a look. Oh, I could have 100,000 bananas.
I believe you're being overly facetious about this record breaking. You get a few, like, you know, my mum never thought she got enough Adidas, and she thought, well, no, she had to make a decision. She either decided
use it or be a world record winner,
or keep my dad down and broke by getting him to keep buying them. She decided, no, we'll use all the Adidas, and she obviously wasn't a world record breaker, but
well, she could have been. She just didn't take the time to check.
This is exactly.
Is it also then true in saying that this boy is still stinky at 48?
Maybe he uses a different deodorant.
Can't cheat on Lynx if Lynx is your thing.
Is that their new marketing slogan?
You can't cheat
on Lynx.
No, but you can't do that, and particularly because he's going to be known as Lynx Boy, isn't he?
Well,
everyone's going to call him Lynx Boy.
I think you're being unfair to Gary Jackson.
No, when he's grown up and all the kids come around his house, they go, "Can we play on your PlayStation?" He's going, "No, I never asked for a PlayStation on my birthdays. I just asked for Lynx." And they open up his bedroom and it'll just be Lynx everywhere. They're going to call him Lynx Boy, aren't they?
Well, they may have done, Wrenfoe, but then they call him a world record breaker. So I don't know.
So he has the last laugh.
Yes, exactly.
Rammed full of Lynx in every room. He's shitting in a bucket because he can't even get to the toilet.
Yeah, it's like when something happens with the royal family and the news always goes around someone's slightly odd's house and they have lots and lots of memorabilia of the royal family, you know, like plates and things.
But this is Lynx.
This is Lynx.
He's a stinky man living in a house that's rammed with Lynx. His own parents are probably dead in there. You know, he's one of those ones that didn't tell anyone and they're just dead there.
Wrenfoe, I don't know why you have taken against Gary Jackson, and did something happen?
Gary, you're a stinky freak.
Gary, I think you're a winner, and the world record proves it.
No, it's a fabrication.
It's too weird.
It is a lie.
Oh.
It is from a NewsBiscuit story.
It's close though. That was, you had me going, definitely. Because to your point, you know, people will collect all manner of shit.
Having dissed it, I am aware that there's a museum not far up the road that has a fantastic collection of 1970s and 80s packages, you know, like foods and, you know, so you can look at what a cornflakes packet looked like in 1977.
What kind of museum is that? You live in Portsmouth, don't you, FlashArry?
I do.
Are you talking about a tip?
In all honesty, I think I've used Lynx a few times, but the thing is, it never covered. It doesn't do anything about the sweat smell. It's just
your innate muskiness. Lovely. And on the sweet smell of Paul, FlashArry, what's your true biscuit?
Rail passengers' smelly feet cause him to be thrown off train.
Well, it's clearly not using Lynx.
Sparks a police threat.
The police threatened him.
They threatened to get the police, transport police, to throw him off the train. Sat down, taken his shoes off, and most of the carriage have registered some sort of complaint about the gorgonzola flavour of.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if someone stinks, they stink, and it's not entirely their fault. Although, you know, Lynx will solve that. Oh no, it won't solve that, will it, Paul? It'll just kind of
just mask it.
Mask it, which I suppose is maybe a temporary solution.
But it's quite provocative to go on to a train and take your shoes off. That seems unnecessary.
Although I have had people cut their toenails on a train I was on.
These people were cutting your toenails, were they?
Not my toenails, no.
Because that would be interesting, wouldn't it, as a British person? Because you don't want to complain and cause a scene. So if someone actually did reach over and grab your foot and start cutting your toenails, how long would you just go with it out of politeness?
I don't know about that. I mean, I this is pressure. I maybe not put this in the podcast, but I had my laptop stolen yesterday morning from my bag above my head, and I didn't notice. I have to give them credit. I didn't really.
The reason that seems like a bit of coincidence to me is that FlashArry was boasting that he had a brand new laptop today. I'm not joking.
Oh dear, FlashArry.
Yeah, your browser history is something to behold.
Actually, it was my work one, so it's pretty clean. But I mean, yeah, don't put this in because it does sound like I'm commending them, but I do give them credit that it was only above my head. And it wasn't that busy. I had my headphones on.
Well, you were having your toenails cut at the time.
Yeah.
Well, there was a man. There was a man with very smelly feet over there.
It was all a ruse to keep you distracted.
Yes.
Too busy complaining. I also, but shall I just point out as well, on the toenail cutting thing, I hate cutting my toenails. It's such a drag. If someone does want to cut my toenails in public transport, feel free. I'm not going to object. It's just one of those tasks I don't want to do. Yeah, mow my lawn, do my toenails.
Yeah, shave my legs.
Put out the bins. That's all I want in life. Someone to do those jobs. Right. Okay. So this guy, it's a guy. I assume it's a guy.
It's a guy.
Stinky people are guys. Right. Okay.
He's on his feet all day.
His big stinky feet. Takes off the boots. Everyone kicks off. Says, put your shoes back on. I assume he refuses to do that. That's why the threat.
Well, I think it was a pretty aggressive first. It sounds like a very aggressive first step where the conductor says, "Please, can you I will call the police if you do not put your shoes back on, sir."
Well, that was his opening gambit. Put your shoes on or get the police.
That many complaints.
That escalates fast.
Yeah, it's straight in there. I mean, they don't have the British Transport Police on Paul's train, thankfully. Else I'd never have got away with it. But
you should try that tactic with your kids when you're leaving the house and they don't put their clothes on, your shoes on time. Put your shoes on, or I'm calling the police. I'm dialing now. Fucking hell, Dad! I'm putting the shoes on. Didn't have to go there straight away.
There is I would say it's a disproportionate response considering some of the other stuff that goes on trains and.
It's a disproportionate response, or the Israeli response, as we call that now. The trouble with modern trains is there's no windows, are there, anymore on modern trains? So you are, whatever stink is in there is just on a recycly, stinky smell, isn't it?
For a moment there, I thought you meant no windows. I thought, what trains are you? No windows.
I think we call those tunnels.
Blimey.
Look out! There's nothing there. You're in a tunnel. You're in a tunnel, mate. Yeah, no, you can't open the window. And I do miss the old trains. Although saying that, the fact you could open the doors while the train was going along was always a little bit alarming on the old trains.
I remember, like when I was early teens, having quite a near miss with having my head out the window, then popping it back in the train. I always think about that sometimes. When you're having a bad day, and I think,
could have been a lot worse. Trouble I would have been in with my parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sliced up top of your head. Socks, feet, pull, smell.
In my experience, what people do on trains, like cutting toenails, just doing all types of things.
Yeah. I've seen sex happen a lot on trains.
Have you?
Really?
A lot?
I'm on the London Victoria line, baby. Everything goes there. Not in recent years, but it was much to do with the older carriages stuff. But I must have seen at least 3 or 4 times people having sex on trains. I mean, if you're like me, who goes deliberately up and down the carriages looking for it, then you're much more likely to spot.
Or possibly goading them into it, or offering them money.
Yes, playing sexy music, handing out lubricant. If anything, I am to blame.
Spraying Lynx into one of the carriages.
Yes. Just get everyone in the mood.
Yeah,
Bangladesh for the lady.
I believe it's true.
It is true. And it's a gentleman who does the journey from Portsmouth to Southampton. And I've seen him. And he's a huge fella.
Wow.
You know who this is about then?
I've seen him on the train. And, if he wanted to feed me his socks, I'd probably go, "Oh, okay. Fine. Don't hit me."
God, I don't think we've had a True Biscuit where we know the person involved.
Well, I'm saying I've seen him travelling on the train. I haven't gone up and introduced him because, it's not the best icebreaker in the world. It was the stench.
Did he have his socks off when you saw him, FlashArry?
Well, my eyes weren't watering, so I suppose no.
Oh, he learned his lesson then.
Yeah. Stick to stealing laptops. Paul L, you got another one for us, you said.
Ironing lady finds iron lady in ironing board.
Is this like some weak Marvel superhero spin-off from Iron Man? We get Ironing Lady.
No, this is Karen Schmidt.
Well, that hasn't made it more. That hasn't cleared it up at all. You've just given me a name. Oh, don't say no more. It's Karen Schmidt. It's Karen Schmidt, FlashArry.
I thought FlashArry might know her. She found the face of Margaret Thatcher seared into her ironing board.
Right.
She was selling it. Then someone pointed out when she had it online, there's Margaret Thatcher, and she's like, oh, hang on.
Oh.
I'm not selling this.
I'm setting fire to it because it's possessed by the devil.
So it's almost like a modern day Turin shroud.
Turin shroud is, of course, caused by Jesus's face kind of melting into the shroud. Are we suggesting that Margaret Thatcher died laying face down on an ironing board?
Senior lecturer in data science at Newcastle University has been involved, who said it might be that it's been photoshopped.
Oh, so fake relics.
Sorry, what was his title at the university?
He's senior lecturer in data science.
He's a senior lecturer, and it hasn't occurred to him that this just isn't the thing anyway. These things aren't real. What's the matter with him? He's teaching young people, and he's going, oh, well, this particular one might be fake, but all the other ironing boards, they're real. What's the matter with him?
Two reasons he gives. Photoshop's the first one. And then the second one is that a hard tensile structure was behind the ironing board cover and that resulted in the image. But I think that's unlikely, he goes on to say. So he's more saying Karen has Photoshopped it.
But even if she hadn't, the whole thing's not real. Does he not get, it's like quibbling over the existence of Santa Claus. Does he wear red or does he wear green? You know, either way, he's not real. Sorry, guys, I've just ruined Christmas. But I mean, well, with it being our Christmas podcast, I might as well destroy things for people.
42 minutes in, we've only just mentioned Christmas on the Christmas.
Yeah, we need to do. We need to do a lot more ho 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 ho's.
Okay.
Not because it's Christmas, but it's like good fake laughter that I could put on some of the gags.
So it could have been AI. So this
AI. Who cares? It's not real. What the fuck?
Isn't it though?
It's not real.
On this podcast, you do shout that phrase a lot, Wrenfoe. It's not real, very frustratedly.
Also, it's not funny. No, that's what our audience shout every so often.
Or they write in.
And they mainly send it to the BBC, so that's much funnier. Dear BBC, why do you keep recommissioning NewsBiscuit podcasts? The BBC are like, what the fuck's NewsBiscuit? That's why everyone's getting rid of their license fee now. It's all on us. What is this? Is this as real as Jesus in your toast or Jesus in your soup, which is the usual thing that newspapers run? Why anyone who's died would want to manifest themselves in the form of food or an ironing board? That's not where I would want to reappear.
Well, maybe we don't get a choice.
Those are two options, you reckon?
Yeah, it's an ironing board or toast or soup if you're lucky.
God, the afterlife is weird. You can come back as a ghost. Oh, brilliant. I'm going to be like a demon. I'll be like a Nazgul thing. No, you're going to be soup. What the fuck? I'm going to be soup. Can I be evil soup?
No.
What's that? Minestrone or something?
You can be leek and potato.
That's more bland than evil, isn't it? What is Margaret Thatcher telling us by appearing on an ironing board?
She wants you to put the iron on her face.
She was the Iron Lady, wasn't she? So
it's just, from her perspective, it's just product placement. She's just promoting her brand from beyond the afterlife.
Yes, the Iron Lady appearing on an ironing board.
Nobody irons anymore.
That's it. False. Right. Well done. Move on.
But I do like a face on a thing story. I've got previous in that.
You love a face on a thing. Right.
So I want it to be true, but I think it isn't.
Because you just love faces on things.
Yes. Yeah. That's my collection. That's my bag.
Okay.
It's true that people don't iron anymore, though, do they? Or at least I don't. I've got clothing that either doesn't need require ironing or I don't give a shit. Do you guys iron?
I don't iron.
Oh no, when Paul said that seemed a bit suspicious. Are other people ironing for you, like cutting your toenails? No,
they're not. I don't. I don't own an iron or ironing board.
I think I don't own a person who does my ironing.
Do you think because I don't iron, stuff shrinks more?
Possibly. You might be getting fatter.
Well,
but you tell yourself that it's the lack of ironing. I weigh 19 stone. But yeah, it's the lack of ironing that's causing it.
I think it's false, but I want it to be true.
That's for you to say, Paul.
I was hoping
don't leave a man hanging.
I was hoping for a bit of a build-up, Wrenfoe, to be honest with you, a bit of a lead-in, but never mind.
Okay, this is Paul. He's excellent. He's a top bloke. Right. How big a building?
I didn't ask for sarcasm.
He's amazing. He smells of Lynx.
Thank you, Wrenfoe, for that nice intro. This is should do some music here. This is true.
And what's interesting is it says underwhelming now that I know it's true. As it was when I thought it was false.
This was handpicked. This is This is the story that got my attention of all the other stories I could pick.
Yes, what other ones did you overlook to come to this one?
I know.
Yeah, thank goodness they didn't put you on the Watergate investigation. You would have got sidetracked by the Corby trouser press in the hotel room. This is the real story.
Well, what if President Nixon's face was on it? Yes.
FlashArry, the last of the True Biscuit.
Joe Pasquale impaled in freak moose antler incident in Skegness.
Are you announcing his death live on NewsBiscuit? I'm sorry to Joe's family to find out this week. Why is Joe Pasquale in Skegness? And why is there a moose also in Skegness? I feel those aren't the natural environments for either of those two things.
I don't know. Joe Pasquale, I can see doing a residency in Skegness.
A residency? You think he's popular enough in Skegness for there to be multiple nights of Joe Pasquale?
Sounds like some sort of punishment, doesn't it?
Well, I think there is a circuit for these certain performers of a... I'm trying to think of a nice word.
You are, aren't you? You're struggling for adjectives, aren't you, Paul?
Yeah. I don't want the Pasquale posse, as their name, coming after me.
Joe Pasquale, isn't he quite infamous for stealing other comedians' material?
There was a Stuart Lee thing, wasn't there? I remember.
So did he steal something that the Moose had done? Had the Moose got a really tight 15-minute stand-up, and Joe Pasquale just stole it and did a squeaky voice over the top?
But some sort of hit rather than an accident.
Yeah, kind of comic revenge. Obviously, as Paul suggests, the people of Skegness would be outraged that their simple pagan god that they worship, called Joe Pasquale, should be savaged by a moose. What's a moose? But we don't have we have mice in this country, but we don't have moose.
Got free-range moose.
We have little deer. We don't have moose.
Canadian thing, a moose, isn't it?
Yeah, like maple syrup and blacking up.
Oh yes. I thought you meant blacking up with the maple syrup. I was thinking.
Well, I wouldn't put it past Justin Trudeau.
So maybe he was doing. It was in a zoo. Maybe it could be. He was doing a personal.
Is this the circuit that you were referring to? That it's not of actual real people. He's doing a circuit. He's just performing to chimps now.
Yeah,
because his material is so lame that only the most rudimentary of animals going to understand it.
Best to pick ones without points on their heads as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. You see, so far he'd been sort of lowballing it. He's been just performing to the lemurs and stuff. And lemurs like anything, but he did his routine to a moose, and a moose, we know, has quite a sophisticated, heightened sense of good comedy. And obviously was outraged and attacked Joe. Is that how it worked? Did Joe survive the
Yes.
So there's not even a happy ending to this.
Oh, and he does some pratfall idiot stuff on stage with a pair of moose antlers.
Oh, he impaled himself.
So the moose was deceased.
Yet beyond the grave, the moose
came back.
Managed to go, must kill Joe Pasquale, must stop this routine.
It's the only way we'll get out of Skegness.
So he pierced himself, hoisted his own, what's it?
Antler.
Yeah. Ow. Well, I can imagine. I can actually visualize Joe Pasquale wearing moose antlers for,
Does sound funny.
Paul's already bought tickets just on the basis of that one image. I'm sold. You had me at moose antler. Well, we've established that it wasn't a live moose, so we've already cleared that up. Paul's pointing out that Skegness is a hotbed of Joe Pasquale fandom.
Not just Skegness.
There's Bridlington too.
Oh my word! Is this where the podcast camera pans across and there's a Joe Pasquale shrine in Paul's bedroom?
It does sound like something Joe Pasquale would get up to.
He's a comic genius.
Genius comes in many forms.
Yeah, some of it not funny.
I don't know why you're down on Joe Pasquale now.
I know, it's really tough actually, because I actually hardly ever seen Joe Pasquale at all. So I am basing this on nothing other than sheer meanness. Sorry, Joe. Bet you're a lovely guy, and I bet you're really funny. All I know is you do a squeaky voice, and that is it.
I'm going to go for true.
It is true.
Oh.
Narrowly avoided impaling himself on the stomach, but still managed to get himself hooked up onto it to require hospital treatment.
Yeah, that's a true professional.
Suffer for his art.
Yeah. Goodness knows his audiences have. Right. Okay. Sorry, Joe. I honestly don't know any of your material, Joe. I genuinely don't, so I'm really sorry.
It is a good chance he might listen to this. Yes.
Looking for material to steal.
He'll be using the ironing board lady.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's all good stuff. And finally, we reach the magic 8 ball. Each of our guests is going to give us their prediction for next month's news.
Called a Santa's sled impounded as a small boat.
Well, he is technically an immigrant, isn't he?
He's not getting in.
You can't stop him. And FlashArry, what about you?
Sock inspectors deployed on Southern Railway.
That brings us to the end of this episode, and I can reveal this month's winner is Man United, just so they can say they won something this season.
Oh, harsh but fair.
I'd like to thank our guests, Paul L.
Goodbye.
And FlashArry.
Goodbye.
And I leave you with these headlines. Nation in shock on discovering Shane McGowan wasn't already dead. Release of Viagra face cream raises eyebrows.
Oh.
And Angela, accused of punching fish, says charges are all codswallop.
You've been listening to NewsBiscuit, free to read and free to write for. We accept submissions from any budding satirist, young or old. Visit newsbiscuit.com to submit headlines, stories, and to support new writers.
NewsBiscuit. Real fake news.
And that's a cracker joke if ever there was.
Yeah, exactly. We're heading the season for that.
Exactly. 2 mentions of Christmas in that Christmas.
Yeah, that's actually more than usual. You usually get to the end of the Christmas episode. I've completely forgotten it's the Christmas episode, but there you go. And if I don't see you before, have lovely Christmases.
And Merry Christmas to you all.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Ho,
there
ho,
we go.
ho.
I'll get it in.
I want Lynx for Christmas now.
And Baddy Dad.